Hallo, mijn naam is Mark Kuyo, 21 jaar oud en ik kom uit Rotterdam in Nederland. I identify myself as... Well, I don't identify myself as anything. I identify myself as a citizen of the world. Why? Because I don't feel Dutch nor I feel Chinese. I just feel myself, and wherever I am is how I feel. So basically I don't really identify myself as anything in particular. The people in my country, they regard me as a Chinese, obviously because of my appearance. Chinese people, they regard me as Chinese as well, but it doesn't play a big role. In a way that once you get to know me, then they'll regard me as the person as I am instead of the Chinese. But of course, like the first intention, the first time you meet somebody, they will, of course, notice that you're from Asia. The people in the same situation as well, that's the thing. The situation is really important because I'm an overseas Chinese. Parents, I'm born in the Netherlands, but my parents are from China. A lot of my friends are in a similar situation. That's why we can understand each other and have the same cultural background, yet the same, we all, grown up in the Dutch. So that's why we feel each other better, and there's this chemistry, which is, bonding. I have started to get along better with people from my own country ever since I got into university, ever since I got into contact with them. I mean, before I wasn't exposed to this group of people who is just like me in the same situation. Parents are from China but born and raised in Holland. But somehow it is this this force that attracts you into this group, and it feels way much more comfortable than I do when I hang out with my Dutch friends. Of course, Dutch friends I'm also really comfortable with them, but it takes more. It takes more. The Chinese people in China are a different story. Also, the mainland Chinese who are in the Netherlands, like on exchange, it's also a different story. They, for some reason, I think it's because of their how they are raised. So I think situation matters more than just where you're from, just what region you're from, your parents are from. I think the mainland Chinese, compared to the Dutch, I think even the Dutch, I can identify myself better with the Dutch than the mainland Chinese. Well, no, not identify myself better, but I would feel more comfortable because we've been raised in the same environment, so we would have more in common and the chemistry would work better. I don't want people to see me as anything. I don't want people to place me as a Dutch guy nor as a Chinese guy. I just want people to see me as Mark, I don't need to be placed in some certain group. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, lately everybody is more and more traveling around and becoming more and more internationalized. So I don't think identity matters that much anymore. I think that people should not regard identity as a priority. Meaning that it doesn't matter if people address you as Chinese or Japanese in your first time you meet some new guy, because you can't blame them for seeing something blue and they'll say that it's a blue thing, because it's the first impression they get. It's the first thing they see. It's the surface. So people should not regard identity itself or addressing people in the wrong way as something, really important. You should just, I believe it's not a big deal at all, since the borders are fading, people get mixed up, and well, that's pretty much it.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Yvonne, j'ai 24 ans. Je suis née à Paris en France, mais ma famille habite dans une petite ville dans l'Oise qui s'appelle Senlis. I identify myself as Chinese French with an influence of Southeast Asian culture because my parents were born in Cambodia. They immigrated to France in the early 1980s. So I guess that's my core identity, but I think the way I identify myself also depends on where I am. For example, if I'm in France, I tend to feel more Chinese, but when I'm in China, I feel a little bit more French. So I wouldn't say that my identity is set in stone. It changes all the time depending on my environment and the people I'm talking to and the people I meet. I think French people have gotten used to the fact that there are a lot of Chinese French in their country. So when I tell them I'm French, they are usually not surprised. I guess they don't see me as 100% French just because I'm not white like them and my parents are not French. But they also don't think it's strange that I'm Asian. So I would think that they see me as also Chinese French, just like I see myself, which is not always the case when I travel. For example, I went to university in America, and I think for American people, it's a little strange to meet a Chinese French person. I think for them, when they think of overseas Chinese, they tend to think of Asian Americans, but they don't think that they are Asian Europeans. Chinese people in France, a lot of parents know that their kids are not exactly like them. They have become very French. I think it also depends on how early you were born. I see myself as more Chinese. I think my parents see myself as more Chinese than they see my sister, who's younger than me. She's 4 years younger than me. So my Chinese, my language abilities are a little bit better than her, and I think more of my friends are Asians than her. So it's also a little bit different depending on your age and your birth order. I would tend to say that first-born Asian kids feel a bit more Asian than second or third-born Asian kids, at least in my experience.